Be sure to check out and subscribe on iTunes to Football Game Plan Podcast, where you can find the Scout Team Podcast, which features plenty prospect interviews coming from the 2018 NFL Draft, and always make sure to leave a 5-star rating. The wide receiver position in the FCS has produced some studs in recent years. Most recently, last year, we saw Cooper Kupp of Eastern Washington and Chad Williams of Grambling make their presence felt as rookies. Now, this year is shaping up to be another good one for the subdivision. Remember, we separate receivers by position, which is what you see at the end of their grades. X is for split ends, Z is for flanker, S is for slot, and F is for inside receivers. After a prolific career with the Penn Quakers, Justin Watson lit up the All-Star Game circuit, posting standout performances at both the East-West Shrine Game and the Senior Bowl. Watson, in my opinion, can play any one of the 4 receiver spots in the NFL. Doris Fountain out of Northern Iowa was another Shrine Game standout, and it's his explosiveness both within his route running and after the catch that makes him special. Malik Earl was a big play threat for the Missouri State Bears, and I think ideally he's suited to thrive inside over the middle of the field as a professional. Patrick Smith of Tennessee State is one of the smoothest receivers in this draft class and also has that ability to play multiple positions. Jake Winicki of South Dakota State excels both in the classroom and also on the field. He was up for the Campbell Trophy, which is given to the top student athlete in college football. He's also one of the better red zone options in the game. And I've scouted and been on the broadcast for a lot of Lehigh games, and Troy Pelletier is one of the more dynamic receivers in the FCS. He's the type of receiver that's always one play away from breaking the game open. Jordan Gandy flew under the radar all draft cycle, but after a solid pro day, more folks are going back to his tape back at Missouri State and finding out that Gandy was a big-time playmaker all along. Elijah Marks of Northern Arizona stepped up big time after Emmanuel Butler went down for the season. I think he's your quintessential flanker that can also help out in the return game. Brandon Norwood of Florida A&M has tremendous hand-eye coordination and battled through quarterback inconsistency throughout his career, but when you isolate his skills from that inconsistency, you see that he's a really good receiver. Staying within the MEAC with Bethune-Cookman's Joel Davis, who can more than hold his own on the outside and also does a great job in sacrificing for the reception. His football IQ is also off the charts. I think he will be a fantastic pro. Norlando Vills of Alcorn State still has upside left in this game. I think he can easily add 10 to 15 pounds without losing any speed or elusiveness and become an even bigger threat over the middle of the field. Matt Sewell of Bryant is going to thrive in a quick passing game scheme that can get him the ball in his hands very quickly, because once that happens, he becomes one of the better broken field runners in the game. Thomas Lucas of Duquesne had a great week of work at the Tropical Bowl this past January and is also one of the better blockers at the position, in addition to being a very dependable receiving option. There's also some very good specialists in this class as well. Chris Garton of North Carolina A&T is the best returnman in the FCS and still has room to grow as a receiver, and if this season is of any indication, it definitely goes a long way in backing up that claim. And Marquise Walford out of Alcorn State is the Swiss Army knife of targets in this draft class. You can utilize him in the backfield, inside in the slot, or on the outside, but also allowing him to handle both return duties for your football team. So in my opinion, this is one of the more versatile group of receivers that I've seen come out the FCS in quite some time.